Hello and welcome to the Brother Slim. My name's Cam, and we are diving into some more Enormity, the boss battle encounter, which should be a good time. I've read through this part of the rulebook a little bit, not gonna lie. I went through it a little bit quicker just because this part is much more similar to Aeon Trespass, which I've been playing for the last year or so. Not to say I'm an excellent player though, that's for sure. But I figured it'd be fun to go in a little bit more blind and kind of see what differences there are. Then obviously if there's any big old lulls or anything, I'll be sure to edit those out before posting this online too. So let us jump in and take a look-see here. So into the Mythos book we go. And this is Dark Side of the Sun, so that's one that we played through. So we'll continue on to the next page here, actually just for fun. This is totally the Mothman on the far side, which is some fun art and some sort of infection or maybe radiation. Cool. Like a moth to the flame, like a moth to, or like moths to a flame. Okay, so we'll start reading from the top and go from here. The solar battery is oddly dark, light surging in a scant few places, spilling like pus from a boil. Ugh, nasty. In the dark, something flutters. You need to kill it before it kills you. You were directed here by card 15 of the Dark Side of the Sun demo. This page will help you set up your first incursion, that's the name of the boss battles, of Enormity. Should have also been directed to open Location Book 1 on page 4 and Location Book 2 on page 3. If you didn't, do it now. Connect the two book pages so they align, see diagram below. So we get to do this automatically, we don't need to actually set it up, which is kind of nice, and I will read through this quickly, although it's going to do it again automatically for us. So follow the standard set of rules, set up the spacers and the Mothman on their corresponding spaces. This is your first incursion, so remember to place the battery terrain tokens on the appropriate spaces. More batteries will show up during play, see below. Place the gear cache on its space. Remember to set up the chosen stratagems close to the board, requirement side up. Just like ATO, there are special abilities that you can bring into each encounter or incursion or extraction. I'm assuming we just have the same two from the previous one, whereas in ATO there's like a choice of, I think as a finishing cycle 1 we got like 5 or 6 that you can choose from, and you can only bring 3 in. Difference here though is you actually need to juice them up with tokens to be able to use them, whereas ATO you're able to use them from the beginning, and then once you use all the charges you can't use it, whereas in this one if you juice them up with tokens again they are usable once more. If you have any trouble finding the right spaces, here's a helpful cheat diagram. Huzzah! Note that there are no spaces on the outer ring of the double page map. In practice, the temple location is made of 2 squares of 9x9 spaces. When establishing coordinates, count from the orientation quadrant, not the edge of the page. Good to note. You're ready to start. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and load this up. Are you loading? I think so. We'll give my derpy old computer a minute here. There we go. We got a global script error. Hopefully that's nothing important. All right, so spacers in a nice flying V formation. I think these are batteries. And then we got the Mothman there. So here are the quadrants. So like it was saying, instead of going right to the edge, we're supposed to be going from here, I believe. So you can put that a little bit over, and then we can also put that and maybe a little further out. Lucky that, methinks. Cool, so it looks like a pretty straightforward map board, and I don't know if these are going to be used during the encounter or not, but there are blip noise spawning areas. Then we got the boss set up all here, but we'll go through and keep reading before we do that. Okay, there's the train there, cool. Victory conditions. If you win if you manage to deal the 7th wound to the Mothman. You lose if all the spacers die. When either condition is met, see the appropriate paragraph below. Victory, you've defeated the Mothman, yep, and you've failed to defeat, read that. And no extractions, basically just that's we need to deal enough wounds to win. That's the only victory available. In the full game, location information like special rules, effects, and loot and engrams, as well as additional setup, will be located on tarot-sized location cards. In this demo, they've been printed below. I do like the tarot cards. The Temple, designation T, Ecology, Mothman, loot deck. When you scavenge the gear cache, see 4730. Solar battery terrain, so it's an obstacle, so it blocks line of sight. It's obscuring. I don't know what the difference between those two is. We'll have to look it up. Destructible means either we can break it or the Mothman can break it when it moves through. And then cover provides cover. So cover, obscuring, and obstacle all sound like very similar things in my mind. I'm curious what the difference is mechanically. We'll have to look that up. Emergency breaker. If a solar battery tile is destroyed, for example, used for cover. Oh, my guess is cover might... I'll look it up after. Remove it from the board, establish random coordinates using the tack scanner, and place a new solar battery tile at those coordinates on the other map location, i.e. Oh, interesting. Emergency breaker. Random coordinates using the tack scanner and place a new solar battery tile. Interesting. So my assumption there is if one breaks on one side of the map, then you spawn another on the other side. And let's look up those keywords quick here. Destructible. When a spacer or intruder is involuntarily moved onto this tile, or when a boss intruder moves through this tile, or this tile is used for cover, it is destroyed. Note, if a spacer or baseline intruder is knocked back, they ignore non-obstacle terrain tiles they move through. Therefore, they will not destroy a destructible tile unless they end their movement on it. Okay, so they do move through. However, this is an obstacle, so they wouldn't be able to move through. So that feels needlessly complicated, but my assumption there is because it's not an obstacle, they then hit it, which would destroy it, is my assumption there. But we'll read obstacle here too, because that's got its own thing. Terrain keyword. Spacers and baseline intruders cannot move through obstacles. Many move-like abilities interact with obstacles. Okay, so it doesn't specify about breaking it, but my assumption is yeah, if you smash into it. And then what else do we have? Cover. What does cover do? Cover isn't in the keyword, so let's look at obscuring first. This title blocks line of sight. Yeah. So just offhand, I feel obscuring, obstacle. Yeah, I feel all of those are kind of synonymous with the same thing, and it feels a little extra to have 3 keywords doing similar things, but they might have different interactions throughout the more advanced gameplay later on. Just I don't know. It feels kind of like a lot. And then cover, I think, is specifically to spacers here. Let's pull this up here. Okay, well, I just cruised through pretty much the entire rulebook looking for the cover keyword. When I read through it previously, I did think I saw it, but I don't see it anymore. Maybe it's something that's in the full game, or I just didn't see it on this look through. So we shall ignore cover for now, unless there's cards that specifically mention it, I suppose. Yeah, so no cover for us. But yeah, so I do feel like, so just as a comparison, if this is an early terrain piece in Aeon Trespass, there's like a similar obstacle destructible thing, and I think it's just it's a pillar is what it is, and so I feel like it's just destructible and it's an obstacle or whatever, so like you can't move through it and it's destroyable. And is the extra keywords really necessary? Cover, I'll give a pass because I think it is its own mechanic rather than just a keyword. But yeah, it just feels a little needlessly complex, but maybe that's nitpicking. Emergency breaker. This is interesting. I'm curious what these solar batteries will do in the game to make it warranted to either want more or not on either sides, which is very, very interesting. Okay, so we're ready to start apparently. And so one thing I'm kind of curious about, is there anything else? No, so that just immediately goes to the next thing. All right, well, so our objective is quite simple. We need to deal 7 wounds. One thing I'm curious about is, I assume we're not using any blips or the time track at all in this one, because it doesn't say any mention of it. The rulebook mentions that like blips and the time track can be used in incursions, but we don't see it mentioned here at all, so my assumption is that it won't be used. So for anyone who hasn't played Aeon Trespass, some differences from the extraction runs are, instead of a bunch of gribbly beasties coming out of the woodwork, we have just one single big beastie. And instead of it being kind of functioning by a card that dictates, or like a one single monster sheet that dictates its responses and what it's going to do, we have a deck of cards that get more and more unforgiving the further it goes, but also the better rewards the more that we wound them at higher levels. So for example, there is the AI deck, which is what the monster is going to do to us. And then there's the BP, or body part deck, which is what we're trying to destroy to wound. And so whenever we wound a BP1, the wounded one goes onto the wound stack, meaning we've done one of our 7 wounds. And then we shuffle in a BP2, which is up here, into our deck down here. And then we also remove an AI1 and put an AI2 into the deck. That's kind of interesting. So we've got the BP2s up here, BP3s here, but the AI2s here, and the AI3s here. Just kind of I think I'll probably mix that around actually. We'll go with the, oops, not one. There we go. I just feel like that's a little bit more neat and tidy. And so we'll go through that mechanic as we get into it. And so the Mothman has a few different things. So just like normal intruders, it's got its baseline stats. So in this case, its movement is infinite and its range is infinite, but I'm assuming for most things it will need line of sight. This is interesting. I don't actually know what that symbol means. 7 or 10 plus. This might be, oh, this is probably its wound. So use value. Okay, cool. So 7 is what we need to beat for this tutorial, and 10 is going to be for the usual kind of encounter. In all of the Alien Trespass fights, except for the tutorials, you need to do 10. Basic traits, so it's got Crash. Crash means if it bumps into you, you take a point of vitality and you're knocked down. Unavoidable knockback 3 is if it finishes movement on your space, you are knocked back 3 and suffer Crash. Okay, so traits, beginning of the end, white and impish heart, nuclear litany. Beginning of the end, white and impish heart, nuclear litany. So we have Shadow of Radiance, we have nuclear litany, blackout. Was there, what about supernova? So that's statuses. Where are these other trait cards? Okay, well, I spent way too much time looking for missing cards. However, the keywords / traits I was looking for are literally just printed right here. So, silly me, that's, oh well. This is just like Alien Trespass, actually. Like, it based on the level of the critter you're fighting, it'll have different traits that usually escalate and get more complex and more of them as you get higher up. So for example, we're fighting the level 1 Mothman, so it gets these 3 traits, and it explicitly says C card for this one because the other 2 are right here. And then for levels 2 to 9, there will be more things that come into play. One of the things I love about ITU as well is all of the traits, abilities, and cards, are very much tied to the critter itself. So in this case, we have a creepy nuclear sun moth embryo parasitic creature in a mech suit. So very much like nuclear sun vibes, and then also moth vibes too, which is pretty wild. So I'm sure there'll be all kinds of fun names for the future as well. So the things I was missing are beginning of the end and white impish heart, which are literally right here. So at the start of the intruder step, perform signature, and end of intruder step, perform nuclear litany. So it's got a bookended turn of some special abilities, which is pretty scary. Actually, let's cover the Mothman, and then we'll get into the gear we get, because we actually do get to start with some more complex gear, which is probably going to be paramount to survival. So it talks about signature and then also nuclear litany. So we've got the routine here, and then was this signature here? Let's flip you over. Signature. So the signature is a quick rundown. So routine is basically, it'll default to doing its routine if it's unable to reach anybody, which is unlikely. And then Enkindle is its signature, which is kind of like its 1-2 punch signature move, you could say. So if The Rock's signature is the People's Elbow, that would be his card if The Rock from WrestleMania happened to be here. And so in this case, Enkindle targets, and a quick little rundown here. This will be on every single card, so we don't need to go through it later. It's got the targeting parameters up front. So the first line is its preference. Second line is its next preference. And again, it has unlimited range and move, so it should be able to target pretty well anybody. And then its action here is dictated by the vertical text here. So in this case, shift and shoot are 2 separate keywords. Shift means that it will move orthogonally. Orthogonally, is that the word? To get in line of sight, and then it will shoot. And again, it's got a full unlimited movement, so it'll shift sideways, think very much like a mech suit and armored core, and then take a shot. And then this is the action that it will do. After attack has various effects that it'll do once its attack has been completed. In this case, Lure 1. Lure 1 is it'll targeting the person that it shot. That person will be forced to move one space closer to the Mothman, basically, from my understanding. And then the nuclear race, which we might see at one point. The Mothman has won this race long ago. All that is left for you is to become the wet nurse of its burden. The Mothman moves adjacent to the furthest spacer, then place 4 radiation tokens on Nuclear Litany. So let's go and take a look at what Nuclear Litany does. Keyword, Nuclear Litany. Place one radiation token on this card. If you end your turn in Zone 3, Radiation X, where X is the number of tokens on this card. When there are 5+ radiation tokens on this card, flip it, and then something bad will happen. So basically, at the end of each turn, it will gain tokens. And Zone 3 is being within 3 squares of the boss, basically. If you end your turn in Zone 3, Radiation X, where X is the number of tokens on this card. So basically, this is a kind of like a party wipe mechanic where you can only top out at 5 radiation tokens. And so I'm assuming you kind of want to spread the love of these tokens between your party members. Blackout, was this a condition or a trait? I don't know if Blackout's actually in play. Yeah, I don't think we have Blackout in play, but we'll leave it here just in case. Remove all blinded conditions. A spacer range is capped at 1 + X, where X is the number of tokens on Nuclear Litany. Interesting. So we'll leave this here because it's put out, so it's probably going to come into play at one point. And then Shadow of Radiance is a scary thing, which brings us into a Evil Sun pocket dimension, which sounds like a not good time at all. So we'll see what happens when we get to that. All right, so that is a quick rundown of the Intruder. I did try to look up, just because I was trying to find these 2 traits, which were right in front of me for quite a while. And so I tried to find the cover rule again, and I didn't see it. So I don't know. We'll see if it comes into play or not. And if anyone happens to know, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I wouldn't mind. That is for sure. And then I'm also kind of curious about this terrain as well, because just one quick thing here too. So these are the gear items that we're going to pull out and get to adjust for our character builds for this one. And where were we? Let's go back a little bit further. This. So remove from the board, establish random coordinates using the tack scanner, and place a new solar battery at those coordinates. I actually don't know how to do this. Like, my assumption is it'll be this guy and one of these. Well, I wonder, let's just try one. Ah, cool. H7 in the middle. And then we would find H7, which would be H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is how it would go. Okay, cool. Well, that's kind of fun. So we shall show you. All right, let's take a look at the gear that we get. So I pulled these out because they are the 2 weapons that I remember that we had from our previous run, because none of the gear actually saved. And then the temple. So let us search this. I think we actually just get, do we get everything from here? Whoopsies. Cool. So we do get everything out of there. Let's take a look. So we've got Radiation Therapy Protocol, which is a new stratagem. So flip this when there are 6+ expertise tokens here. Let's just see what it be. Discard up to 2 radiation tokens, and there's 2 charges to use on this. So I think this is definitely going to be good for this fight. So I think we'll definitely use that. And then we have some, what is this? A support gear here. So gives you a light range of 3, I think, instead of 2. So just a focused further reach on your light. I don't think that's going to be especially useful for this fight in particular, but who knows? Contact plating. If 6+ damage was dealt, after resolving it, X this card. Oh, cool. So my assumption is that this is an armor thing, meaning you have a armor dice. I love armor dice in Aeon Trespass, and I actually don't know how it works in this. So let me take a look at that really quick. Yeah, you know what? I don't even know if this is armor. I feel like it makes sense, but I couldn't find armor rerolls. Like they're mentioned in the rulebook, doing a control search, and they're noted in a few different areas, but I couldn't actually find the rules for an armor reroll, so I don't know if that's the appropriate symbol for it. I feel like it's got to be. That's not the backpack symbol for it or whatever, so I think it's got to be. And so the way I'm going to play it is, if I take any hits to my vitality, I'll roll a dice, and if I get any potentials, I can reduce how many vitality I lose by the amount of potentials on the dice, which is how Aeon Trespass does it. And then the negative of this card is if 6+ damage is dealt after resolving it, X this card, meaning that it is gone for the rest of the fight. So it's not something that you're just going to be able to use forever for the entire encounter, like a lot of things in Aeon Trespass are. So that's how I'm going to play it. If I'm doing that wrong, or if anyone knows where in the rulebook armor rerolls are, feel free to loop me in. I would love to know too. All right, so there was that. That took a lot more time than I expected to figure that out, and I didn't even get an answer. Let's look at what else we have. Laser pistol. Okay, so 3 white dice and 1 discipline you get to use. If you got 7+ adrenaline, you get to use red dice as well, which is pretty cool. Range 4, 1 suppress. And my assumption is suppress still works on boss intruders, which is interesting. So linear, it can only be fired in straight lines. You get to use 2 discipline, and discharge, I'll have to look it up. It's basically, it doesn't use ammo. It recharges, I think, automatically. Yes, during the raise adrenaline, and depleting weapon step, place a discharge status on it. Discard this token at the start of your next turn. Reload and fast reloads will not remove a discharge status. Okay, so basically you don't need to reload this weapon. It reloads on its own, but you cannot fast reload or full reload of your own volition. It just takes a full turn to come back to you, which is pretty cool. And it's just one hand? Yes, it is. Me likey. Laser welder, weld a door. I don't think that's going to be useful for this specific case, but that's still pretty cool. Fun. Well, let's pull these down and see what we want to use. Just while I build these characters, I'm probably just going to edit this piece out. Alrighty, so I picked my loadouts and my stratagems. The 2 stratagems I went with are Morpheus Protocol, which we had from the first one, so only needs 6+ tokens to activate, which is nice, and then you get to recover 3 stress, so hopefully simple and effective. And then our new one, which we just read, which is Radiation Therapy Protocol. Discard up to 2 radiation tokens. We can do that twice. So we're probably going to prioritize that one, just given this fight. For the gear, pretty straightforward. I did move a few things around now since we've had our rust phase or whatever off of camera. So I put the 2-handed rifle on our op specialist, the contraband rifle. So it's heavy, so it does need a full reload. It's got 2 ammo, and we used it last time, and it was quite a bit of fun. I think our scientist had it last time. And I also gave them the contact plating body armor, which again I'm going to play as armor reroll until 6+ damage was dealt. Looks like it's 6+ damage in 1 round is my reading on that. And then next up, Aubrey. Juliet was our ops person. Aubrey, our, and I've been messing this up a little bit, scientist, and it was engineer who had the rifle before. So No real change here, but they do have, I don't remember them getting this item, but it was down beside here anyways, a stim injector. So a confidence token and trash this card to recover 4 vitality, which can be used on an adjacent spacer. And if we are low on health, it can be used as a reaction, which is pretty cool. So they're going to be our more support character who can't really do a ton of damage per se, but that is how it is. And they've got their 2 hands up there, and then also the multi-tool, which I think everyone has the multi-tool. And onwards to our engineer, who is a little bit more combat focused with the laser pistol, which is pretty cool. So laser pistol is a discharge weapon, so you don't need to worry about reloading it, but you can't use it multiple times per turn kind of thing. Next up, we got Big Papa Marcus here. So once again with the combat armor and that same gun that they had last time, the Zenimo Suppressor Gun, which is pretty sweet. White dice plus 1 power, 4 range, only a single ammo, but you can fast reload it, which is pretty cool, shall we say. Then we've got the same 3 cards for everybody. Alrighty, Roo. Well, let's hop in and do this thing without further ado. So we get to start, which is a difference from Aeon Trespass. In Aeon Trespass, you almost always go after the boss, so you kind of have to react to its first turn. But in this case, we are still doing this. So we don't need to worry about the countdown phase. I don't think there's anything. Maybe we will move the countdown phase just in case it's got any cards that interplay off of it, just so we're sure on that. It is the first turn though, so we don't need to worry about that. There are no blips on the board, so we don't need to worry there. So it is straight to the spacer phase, and then the Mothman cometh afterwards. So I think first things first, we'll probably want to go with one of our more tanky fellows. So why don't we go in with Big Papa over on the right side? One thing I am kind of curious about though are their character abilities. That's a little bit too big. If it's empty, we can gain a stress to put 2 tokens in there. Let's do that for sure. So we're going to gain a stress and put 2, what was it? I think discipline tokens in. If the incoming or active pool is empty. Cool. So this specifically says incoming or active. So we want to do that for our own pool so that we have 2 tokens available for us because we are going to be selfish here. And the hope is that we'll be able to leave at least a token or 2 for them afterwards. And so our game plan here is we want to do some damage. I don't think this was a linear weapon. Let's double check. No, it's not. Range 4. Let's see what kind of positioning we would have to move here. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we move 1, 2, be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So we can move 2 spaces forward, and we would be within range, which is good. So let's see, what do we want to do to make that move? So or fast reload. So move 3, move 2 and gain a stress. You know what? Let's go for it. Move 2 and gain a stress. We're going to go 1, 2, gain a second stress, going up to 3 already. And that puts us within range to make an attack. So we are going to do just that. So this is a adrenaline action, bumping our adrenaline up 2. Also, since I reloaded, these things being placed seems to be nicer too, which is good because it was kind of annoying before. I think just because my first playthrough was on a dated version, when I loaded it up, this demo had been updated a whole bunch since then, but it didn't update that playthrough for some reason. It could just be me not doing something right on TTS, but that is the way it be. Okay, so cool, cool, cool. And we could perform another action if we want to. So we'll see. We shall see about that. All right, so let's roll our attacks, which is going to be 2 white dice plus 1 additional power. And let's see. And to hit it here, what is the AT field that we have? Okay, that tripped me out for a sec. This is a number of wounds we need to do. Because this game's a little bit more simple than ATO, we don't actually need to roll to hit. The D10 is taken out of the equation. So I'm just going to shuffle these. We just get to flip the top BP card and see what it is. Oops, not all of them. Let's just draw just one. I guess we'll just put it in, we'll put it on over here for now. And so we are trying to hit the Consecrated Casing. One note for the demo is every single AI and BP card has the same little graphic on it. Really hope that in the final version they do custom ones. It's something that they've done for Aeon Trespass and Kingdoms Forlorn, and it just adds so much character to the boss fights. Is it necessary? By no means no, but it is so cool and I really like it. It's just a great way to add some really visual flair and character to the fights too, which is awesome. Alrighty, Rue. So we are connecting with, or we're trying to hit the Consecrated Casing. Wound performs signature attack against the attacker. So basically, even if we wound it, something bad happens. If we fail, it does Nuclear Litany. And if we critical, you blow up part of the hardsuit covered in circular writing. The Mothman shivers. Discard 2 tokens from Nuclear Litany. Fun. But first things first, we need to get 5 AT. And we only have 2 white dice to do so, which is a little bit scary. We do have 2 confidence tokens, though, so that's something. One thing I'm going to do just really quick is draw out the ammo things here. Just 2. You've got the laser. This pistol has 3, so we'll actually need another one over here too. And then Big Papa's gun, which we've just used, only has 1, so it's already been used. So we'll put the ammo token on top of the weapon to show that it's been used already and does not have any ammo. And we don't get any free rerolls or anything on this, so yeah, this might be a little bit tricky to actually be able to wound. Let us see how we do here. So we do have 2 of the potentials, which we can turn into 2 successes. However, that would only be 1, 2, 3, short by 2. So I think we're going to take another stress, which I don't know if this is the right call, but we're going to do it anyways, going up to 4 stress on our very first turn. Keep in mind, if that goes above 9, we die. And re-roll this one. No, so we fail and gain 5 stress in the process. Yeah, I don't think that was a good call. But anyways, let's go back up to this card and see what happens here. So fail, perform Nuclear Litany. If you end your turn in zone 3, radiation X, where X is the number of tokens on this card. So I think we might be, we're not within zone 3 because we can count it out. So 1, 2, I'm just going to look up the ruling on zone really quick here, just to be sure. Okay, so I think I was going to do this wrong. So zone X, all spaces in an indicated area. Zones are measured in spaces from the source, orthogonally and diagonally. This means a zone always creates a box around the source. This targeting line triggers even if there are no spacers within the indicated area, unless the targeting specifically states spacers in zone X. Okay, so zone 3 would be 1, 2, 3. I kind of wish there was an image for this, just to show... Okay, so N, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, and then also 1, 2, 3, meaning, yeah, that's a huge zone, and we're definitely in it. Okay, so I think that's correct. So we are in the zone, because zone 3 is quite large. Radiation X, where X is the number of tokens on this card. So there's no tokens on this card, so nothing really terrible happens. So we've moved 2. We are unable to do that. We also don't have an expertise too fast reload. So do we want to move 1? Let's move 1 to there. And that is going to be the end of their turn. So the tokens that they left themselves and gained stress to do so were useless, but they are able to keep 1 token in the pool for the next person to go here. So that was not a great first turn. We stressed the heck out of Big Papa and were unable to wound. And just for fun, was there anything else on this card? Nope. Yeah, AT5 is a lot, especially for an AI1 card, comparing it to ATO at least. Okay, well, let's go with our next person, which I think is going to be our soldier lady here, using the contraband rifle. So this one is not linear, but it is heavy and devastating. Devastating, if I remember correctly, it means if we get a crit quadrant on a dice, it means we can roll an additional die. And so, oh, but this does mean, what is the... So my assumption is because we missed, we still are able to leave our suppression tokens, in which case we have suppression 5 on this weapon. So in hindsight, I should not have done the additional stress to re-roll, because going with this person, making the one attack to leave that suppress 5 is pretty sizable. So that might be a piece of why the AT fields are higher in this game, because there is the suppressed tokens in play. So that would have been 1. So that will equal to 4. And then we'll bring one more out there too and flip both of these. And so these are going to be in play until the end of the intruder's next turn, making it substantially easier to hit. All right, so with that in mind, because there's so many of those tokens in play, I think I might actually go with... Let's see. Just going to check their abilities really quick. Optimization, an adjacent spacer may perform a fast reload. Pretty cool. What about you over here? Adjacent spacer. Okay, so basically leaving tokens, or someone else can move. All right, so nothing useful for gaining or losing stress. Big Papa might have to do a, I can't remember the name for it, the calming action or whatever to lose stress. But in the meantime, what is the range on Isaac's laser pistol here? It is linear and only a range of 4. So you would have to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or that wouldn't work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so he can move 4 and take a shot. I'm kind of tempted to do that first, actually. Let's go with Isaac first in that case. So, Isaac, move 2. It's going to move 3. We don't need to worry about noise. There is no blips on the board. So 1, 2, 3, and then just going to move the additional 1 to get to there. And that additional 1 is just going to be from here. So that's nice and easy. And then they are going to perform an attack, raising their adrenaline up to 1. We do have 1 discipline token in the pool already, which is nice. So let's go ahead and attack with this pistol. So we get 3 white dice. And a discipline token is already in play, which is nice. Or there's a free discipline, I should say. And only 1 suppress here, too. Okay, so let's do this thing. All right, so technically speaking, I should have drawn the card first. So let's see what we are connecting with. Whoops. I accidentally picked up the entire deck. That's okay, so that one is the one that we missed. And then we'll draw the top card, flip it, put it on top of here. Why? Stop that. There we go. That was annoying. It kept picking up the entire deck for some reason. All right, so we are trying to hit the auxiliary generator. Wound, discard 1 radiation token from nuclear litany. Fail, radiation 1. Critical, we'll only do the crit if we were able to crit. And I already rolled the dice, so let's see what we get. So because of the suppression, it's really hard not to wound, so we definitely wound it, so that's awesome. Oh, we do actually get the 2 crit quadrants there too. Do we have devastating on this weapon? No, we do not, but we do leave 2 discipline tokens for the next person, so we'll put that there to show that we've used it. And then we shall put 2 of these into the incoming pool. And we do a wound, so we do our very first wound. In which case, discard 1 radiation token from nuclear litany. We don't need to worry about that yet, although that would have been nice, I'm sure. All right, we've got our single wound in play. So this does mean that we escalate. So let us shuffle this up. Draw a card, put that there. Shuffle that, and then we'll take one of you out. Grab a AI2, put that there, and shuffle that up. So that is a quick, easy example of escalation. Because we wounded a BP2, we add that, or a BP1, we add that to our wound stack. And then we shuffle a BP2 into our AI, or into our BP deck. And then we remove a level 1 AI and put a level 2 AI in its place and shuffle that in too. Okay, cool. So no negative response there, which was nice. And that is going to be the end of Isaac's turn, which is pretty cool. So we're able to leave a discard or a discipline token in. So basically we can leave that and also add the 2 here from the weapon, which is pretty cool. I think I might have forgotten the tokens from the other weapon too, but that's okay. I've been bad at that. All right, so going next, I think we want to have our scouty person go. Yeah, let's go with our scout next. And so, story with her rifle. So there is not linear either, which is nice. Range 4. So how many spaces do we want to move here? We can move through our buddy. We just can't go. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3. And then noise roll. We don't need to worry about it because there's no noise mechanics in this fight. And then we are in line of sight. We've got a perfect range of 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, hang on a sec. So that's 5. We're going to have to move 1 more, actually, which is fine. There we go. And then let's check out this contraband rifle here. So 2 red dice. We get a free discipline and a free... Oh, so this would actually be a good person to open up the fight with. And a free confidence, too. So we'll roll those guys up. And as far as I'm aware, these same suppress tokens are still in play because the suppress is, if suppress is in play, it's always equal to the highest value that it could be. So even though this pistol has a suppress of 1, the other gun is the higher value, so it's still in play. And these tokens are in play until the intruder's next activation. I don't know if activation counts as the enemy response or like its actual full turn. I feel like it's full turn, but I don't know for sure. That might be trivializing things. I don't really know. I didn't really see it clear in the rulebook. So again, feel free to jump in and let me know. Knowing ITU, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the next activation of like it jumps in and does a response or something, but hard to say. I'm not sure. I think for now, unless the cards seem to dictate otherwise, I'm going to play it as its next full turn, as in like that's its activation, rather than it responding to ours. Alrighty, Roo. So did we roll the dice? Yes, we did. We got a crit quadrant, which means I think this was the devastating one, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So we can roll an additional dice, and let's see what happens here. Are we able to get another one? No, but we do definitely wound it. And did I actually draw what we were trying to... I didn't draw the card again. So let's draw that. Hopefully just pick up the 1 card. Thank you. Flip you over. And so this was a magnetized boot, AT field of 3, so we would have handily wounded this regardless. Wound, place 2 tokens into any spacer pool. That is nice. Awesome, so we'll grab 2. And I think we'll put that into the next one here. Oops. Just so it's ready for the next person. Cool. And this gun doesn't actually have any tokens that it leaves, so that's handy for us to have those ready and waiting there. And so if we wanted to, we could have changed these potentials into successes, bringing our full value up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So pretty good hit there for sure. And so this is another AI1. So magnetized boot comes down into the wound stack. This is, I don't know why these cards are being so annoying. There we go. So we got a pile of 2. And because of that, we need to shuffle in an AI2. So we shall shuffle you up. Take out an AI1. There we go. Put in an AI2. Oh no, why? Okay, so I'm not too sure what happened there. I did a Control Z to try and just undo the click I just did. And let's see, how many cards do we have? Okay, so I think we are maybe in the clear here. What do we have here? Just the 1, it's 2. Where are the player characters? Okay, so they're where I left them. So let's just shuffle in. How many cards are here? Just 1. So we'll take 1 out. And put another 1 in. And then we should just have, I don't know why that toggle to show how many cards are in the deck thing here is gone now. Research. Okay, cool. So there is a lot of them. So hopefully that is good. That was kind of annoying. Like in physicality, like yeah, shuffling takes a second. It's kind of annoying, but or it's really not that bad once you get used to it. But accidentally picking up the whole deck of cards and adding it to this in the digital format is very annoying. Me no likey, and it's happened every single time I've tried to do this. So that does not spark joy. All right, but we've done our 2 wounds, and we just need 5 more. And we have 1 more person to go this round, which is going to be them. So that is going to tick our adrenaline up to 2. So let's grab that, putting it up there. Or our adrenaline is now up to 1, not 2. Oh, okay. So it looks like it goes slow when the 2 things are stacked. So we're able to leave an extra token here. So we'll put that out. So we'll pull this one over, and these are the tokens available for our last player character of Aubrey. So Aubrey, her weapon has a range of, is that 3 or 4? 3. And yeah, let's see. So range of 3 isn't that great for us. It's not that great at all. You know what? She might just sit put where she is and hold back here. Or I wonder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She could get all the way to there. She might run for the loot. I don't know if that's wise or not, because she is also the only person I have that can heal. I think she's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which would be gaining a single stress to do so. And yeah, she might go and run for the loot. That might be her play. I think Rationalize might bring down her stress, so let's see. Oh no, so Rationalize would, no, catch breath, rearm, exerting. Lose 2 stress. So she's going to do that just to gain a... Where did I get off to? There we go. And then lose 1, 2 stress to bring that down to 1. Just because I wanted to be able to leave a token, which is going to be, what should she do here too? Because these we're going to put on, what is this? Let's see. Radiation therapy. We want to do that, methinks. So put that there. This token is gone. Not a medic. That's pretty fun. She's going to gain some stress at the end of her turn, I think, as well. To leave... no, let's just go into the next turn here. Let's do it. So she gets to leave a discipline. So we'll put that there. That's going to be the end of her turn, so nothing too crazy for her, which brings us to the Mothman's first turn. So, looking at this once again, so the traits, beginning of the end, start of the intruder step, perform signature. So we'll do that first, and then we'll draw the card after. And so, in Kindle, furthest spacer in front, or furthest spacer in sight. So furthest spacer in front is going to be 1, 2, 3. This is going to be our sport character. So let's see what happens to Aubrey here. Mothman takes a pot shot at you. So shift, it's going to move orthogonally to be able to shoot, and its range is infinite. So it's going to move 1, 2, getting to there. And then it's 2 red dice. Let's roll these up. And so that's going to be 2 vitality. And nice. So not 3+, so we don't need to worry about radiation 1. And then lure 1. So it's going to get pulled towards her a little bit. So 2 vitality going down to 7. And she gets pulled forward 1 space, which I'm actually okay with. There we go. Cool, cool. Like a moth to a flame, indeed. All right, that is the start of its turn. And now let's draw its AI card, which is an AI 1, which is nice. Mark of the Sun. Target last to noise. Oh, okay, so noise does still play a factor in this. I don't think we necessarily need to do the roll, but we just do need to keep track of who made noise, which in this case is going to be the same person that just moved too. So Aubrey. So last to noise. So 1 white dice plus 1 power. She doesn't have 5+ stress, so this attack isn't lethal. Shift shot, already within range, so that we're good there. The Mothman raises its hand and performs a strange circular motion. If damage was dealt, radiation 2. Okay, so if damage was dealt, radiation 2, we've got a white dice. We'll roll this, and it's plus 1 power. Yeah, so damage is dealt. Oh, that's kind of fun. We can zoom in on that. So let me just double check that really quick. Yeah, so 2 damage done to Aubrey here. And there we go. Ouchie kibbles. Not joyful there, that's for sure. This card does have a reaction. Oh, I wonder if that's how maybe that's how cover works. Like we could use a reaction to get to here, which would then get us out of line of sight of that. That might be how that plays actually, because looking at this card, so it does its targeting parameters, and then you can use a reaction. Because if it's like ATO, so it targets you, it moves to you, and then it technically it does its shift shoot at the same time, so maybe not. But we could do a reaction then. Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like I shouldn't be getting tripped up by the reaction things in this game because they feel identical to Aeon Trespass, but I don't know why it's tripping up here. Maybe it's just because it's a shift shoot is where it moves, and that might be different than Aeon Trespass, where it's just got a clear move to target. I'm not sure, but that is kind of tripping me up. So I think I'm not going to do the reaction to move. I'm just going to stay where I am because it would be able to get to me anyway, I think there. So whatever, we've taken a whole bunch of damage and we might need to heal ourselves. But that's okay. And then I think there was another effect there too. Let's take a look. Radiation 2. Spacer gains X radiation tokens. Okay, so they gain 2 radiation tokens, which does not spark joy for us. And I think radiation tokens are actually just, we'll do these ones just because they've got numbers on them. So we've got 2. Okay, cool. And was that the end of its turn? After attack, lure 1, so it's going to pull her 1 towards it. Okay, fun. And that is going to be the end of the round. So we'll take a quick little look here, see if there's anything else that we need to do. Foot patrols, don't need to worry about that. I will move the countdown marker in case that has any interplay. And then that is going to be back to our turn. So this time I'm going to do some things a little bit different. And I'm going to start with, so it'll be 1, 2, 3. So yeah, zone 3 is massive. I think. I don't know why I'm getting tripped out by these zones. Like, zones are something that's in Aeon Trespass and Kingdom Death all the time, and like they're quite straightforward. But something about not having a diagram is tripping me out in this, and I don't know if it's just the digital formats warping my mind or what. But I don't know. It's just tripping me out. These tokens are now gone because we're probably going to be reusing them again in the future here. I'm just going to... Jesus. Oh my god. This is kind of getting annoying. I don't know why... I'm struggling with TTS more than I was previously, but I'm picking things up accidentally or picking up the wrong thing at the wrong time, and it is a little bothersome. Okay, so we're going to go with our Ops Division person first here. And we do have 1 ammo left on this gun, so let's go ahead and do it. All right, so we are already within range, so let's just go ahead and make our attack. So we'll scoot, not that, we'll scoot, come on, you forward. And then the stress piece is just gonna go back to 1 because we do not need that to come with us. There we go. And so this is an attack, in which case we have 2 reds and a free reroll and discipline. All right. Technically speaking, I should have drawn this first. It is just a AI 1, which is nice. We got the 1. We'll flip that over. Oh, nope. It picked up everything again, even though it showed 1. Why you do that? There we go. Okay, so we'll put that there. And what is this? Wing light-like plate. So 4+ to hit. Wound, we gain a radiation. Fail, we get knocked down. Crit, some fun stuff happens, but we didn't get any devastating things there. Solar Whip gear card. Ooh, that's one of the things I love about this company is not always, but every single boss has at least a couple critical effects where you gain a unique gear. So love to see that. And so was this a 4? Yes, a 4. And what did we get here? We got 1, 2, 3, and using this token, 4. Fantastic. So we wound this guy for a 3rd time. So radiation 1. So we'll put that there. And we gain a radiation token. And now this weapon is out of ammo. But we're not feeling too bad about that. Not feeling too bad about that indeed. I think they are now going to move back 3. Going 1, 2, 3 to there. And the boss monster doesn't have any opportunity attacks because it's governed by its AI deck. So instead of having opportunity attacks from us moving, it has opportunity attacks via the various effects on the card. So its responses, for example, fail, nuclear litany, or wound, perform signature against the attacker, which is a gross one. All right, so we've done another wound, so we need to escalate. So we'll grab another 2 card. Thank you for just having 1. Put you there, shuffle you, remove an AI 1 card. No, stop grabbing all of them. There we go. Grab a single number 2, put that in there, and shuffle you up. Cool. And so its next turn is going to be an AI 2, which will be scary, and we still only have a BP 1 on the top there, so that's nice. With that in mind, and do we get to leave any tokens with that? I don't think we do. However, we do get tokens via this, which is good. And so at this point, we've done the move 3. So we could move 2 again, or fast reload, which we can't because it's a heavy weapon. Is there anything on the back of this that we could do? Move 1 space? No. So that's going to be the end of her turn where she is. So she's going to leave some tokens here. And she might actually, this pool is empty. So she is going to gain a stress. So stress going back up to 2. And is going to leave 2 expertise tokens for the next person. So we'll flip that. And then she also gets to leave tokens via her abilities here. So 2 discipline tokens. So we'll chuck that in for the next person. There we go. And I think next person to go is going to be our support person here, who is looking a little beat up, but that's okay. That is hopefully okay. So she didn't shoot this last time, so she's got her full ammo, range 3. This thing is directly in front. Let us see what happens. We get 3 white dice. Let's see what we're trying to hit. Hardsuit chest plate. So we do need 5 to hit, which is not sparking joy, but if we miss, that's kind of okay in my book. So from the attack here, we do juice up her adrenaline, going up to 2. I'll let that place itself down, and then come on, stress, we want to scoop you up. You know what, I'm going to leave it there because we're going to move on to stress fast reload. Yeah, we'll do that after. So I'm just going to leave that put. Alrighty, so for her attacks, and we'll put this one there just so that we know we have 2. Alright, and so we do get to leave a discipline 1. So we'll leave that for the next person. And so we need 5, which is unlikely. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? Let's do a single point of stress to reroll one of those because we might actually be able to make it. Reroll that fella. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we can make that happen. Fantastic. So we'll flip that guy. Whoops. Down to 1. Good stuff. And these, I think, are actually old. So I think I'm just going to chuck them there because I think they are old. Already Ryu. So we do wound. What happens on a wound effect on this card? Wound performs signature against the attacker. That does not spark joy, but that is okay. So let us put that there. So we've got 4 out of 7 wounds. We'll bring another BP2 into the deck here and shuffle you up. And then same idea here. We need to search and find an AI1. So what's this? That's a 2, that's a 2, that's a 2, 1, and 1. So it'd be the first one will come out. And we'll just put you on top there. And shuffle another 2 into the deck. There we go. And then we shall shuffle you also. Okay, and then signature and Kindle. So this is targeting specifically the person that wounded it. So 2 red dice. All right, so 2 damage, and I don't think we proc that 3+ again. Nice, we don't. So 2 damage onto our support character here. So going down to 3. We might want to juice them up with the healing thing. And I think this is only a once per. Yeah, it is. And it can be used as a reaction too, which is neat. Again, I'm getting tripped up by the reactions here. My assumption is I can only use it when that symbol is present, just like ATO. But some of the, I can't remember which gear card I was looking at. One of them was, like, it had a reaction effect based on something that wouldn't usually have that reaction symbol, unless maybe it's present on the boss fights and then it's relevant, and I just haven't done a boss fight yet. Anyways, yeah, this game is so similar to ATO in a lot of ways, but the differences are kind of tripping me up, and I don't know if it's just because I'm not used to Tabletop Simulator and like the different mediums tripping me up or what, but yeah, that is what it is. Okay, so the end of her turn, She is not looking great, shall we say, but she has been juicing herself up, which is pretty good. So this token is gone because she is going to be the one that uses it. She gets to leave an expertise and one of those tokens though too. So what we'll do is we'll pop that out to there, pop this over, flip that, and add a expertise also. All right, so that is 2 characters done. She's currently the last noise, just as a reminder. Oh, actually, that's not technically her turn done because she hadn't moved yet. So what we're planning to do was go 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then doing that fast reload. Whoops. Fast reload for her too, which would give her full ammo back. Okay, so I think that was 2 characters done. So this turn is taking longer than usual. Again, I've just been getting kind of confused on some stuff that I feel like I shouldn't be, but that is what it is. All right, so with that in mind, so we've got those tokens there. We have a expertise and discipline. Does this weapon have any confidence innately? No, but it gets to leave some. What about this one? Discipline 2. Yeah, I think let's go with this guy next. So what was the range? I think it was 4. And it is linear. All right, so linear in mind, we would want to move 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And to make that happen, and we also get to take off the discharge symbol because it's their turn again. So we could either move 1 space and also move 3 and make noise. So let's do that. So move 3 and we'll put the noise token over here just to show that he was the last 2 noise. And then we're going to attack. So our adrenaline goes up. And we've got those tokens in play already. So let's see what we're trying to connect with here. And I think this is going to be the first BP2. So we'll draw this, flip it over. So hardsuit headpiece, BP2 needing 6 AT to wound. On a wound, it's going to perform signature against the attacker. On a fail, nuclear litany. And on a crit, disable lethal. So fun. All right, let's see if we can do it. 3 whites, and we got a free discipline. Okay, so we do have a lot of discipline here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a definitive no. I don't think we want to gain any stress to reroll just because the chances of it are quite slim. Do we want to bother? I don't think so. Let's just not. So with that in mind, it's got a suppressed token of 1, I believe. Yep. So we'll bring just this 1 up to there so that we know that it is suppressed. And that is going to be the end of his turn, bringing us to Big Papa to close up shop here. What tokens do we leave? So this one is going to pop out. So we just need 1 more, and then we can flip that over. And then he gets a confidence and discipline. So let's just flip that. Oops, wrong button. Flip you. Bring you out. And I love it when you call me Big Papa. So Big Papa's weapon, I think, is not linear. And we did not quick reload, so we do need to do that. Okay, so 4, it's not linear, which is good, and we need to quick reload. So right now, 1, 2, 3, we get us within 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do that. So move 1 is going to be our quick reload. Oh, we don't really want to gain stress though. We'll use that expertise. Was there an expertise? No, there wasn't. Okay, so Papa's going up in stress again, up to 5. So that's fast reload, and then we'll do move 2, move 3, and make a noise roll so that he is the last to noise because we kind of want him to get hit. And so that'd be 1, 2, 3 to there. All right, so his weapon is juiced up, ready to go. Let us do it. So 2 white dice plus 1. And we are connecting against another. Is this a. We might actually lucked out here and got one of the only ones left in here. Yeah, hard soup joints. So we only need 3, becoming 2. So a super light, easy one here for Big Papa. Let's see if we can get it. 1, 2, 3. Indeed, we do. Don't need to do any rerolls. There is a crit thing there. Crit opportunity, but I think this one can't crit. No, it cannot. All right, so we wound. And what happens on this wound? Nothing. That's nice. We just get a free wound. So we put that there, and then we'll cycle in another number 2, and we shall shuffle you up. And do we have 2? Okay, we do have a 1, so we'll take out that 1, put it on top of there, and then we'll shuffle a 2 into the deck. There we are. So with the end of Big Papa's turn, oh, I also forgot to bring up his adrenaline. There we go. So the tokens Big Papa's able to leave anything from his weapon, I think so. Yeah, confidence and discipline. So we gain a confidence and 3 discipline tokens into the pool for the next person. There we go. Beautiful. And that's going to bring us to the intruder turn. So it's going to perform its signature first in Kindle. So furthest spacer in front. And so it's facing this way. Furthest spacer in front is going to be... Oh, but they're obscured / in cover. Let me look up those rules really quick here. Okay, so because our ops person is behind this obscuring piece of terrain, they are out of line of sight, which moves us to the next targeting parameter of furthest spacer in sight. So furthest spacer is going to be Big Papa here, which is good. We kind of want Big Papa to get hit. So we've got 1, 2 red dice. Ooh, doing 3 damage, and so that does cause nuclear stuff or radiation to come into play. So they take radiation 1 and 3 damage. So we'll grab this token here for Big Papa, and they take 3 damage. We're gonna do a armor roll, and again, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I couldn't find the ruling for it, and I couldn't find that backpacky armor symbol anywhere. It's different than the armor than the backpack symbol in the gear in the suit thing. So yeah, I think it's an armor roll. I don't know for sure, and I'm not sure what it means, but I'm just going to treat it as an Aeon Trespass armor roll because I'm not sure. So yeah, and generally with Aeon Trespass, the armor symbol is a dice. With the level of dice corresponding to the color. I'm just going to treat it as the lowest tier of armor, which in this case will be a single white dice. And if I get a potential, then I'll count it as blocking a point of damage. I do not, so I take the full 3 damage, which is fine. So 1, 2, 3. And again, if anyone knows what that symbol means or what this gear card is meant to do, holla at your boy, and I would love to know. All right, so that is done, and I think that's the end of that card. Let us see. Lure 1. So, oh, I don't know what happens if we bump into each other. I think we both suffer knockdown, actually. This wasn't actually linear, so I wonder if I could have just gone... Yeah, I'm just going to say move there, and then just get pulled forward the 1 to there. And also this token, suppressed token, is gone now, just to avoid them knocking each other down, which would not have sparked joy. Okay, so 1 quick little retcon there, just for me playing silly. And let's see what its next turn is going to do. Stop picking up the whole deck, please. Solar Flare, each spacer, lure 3. Okay, so each spacer, lure 3. So everyone, just every spacer gets lured 3. So this is going to be move 1. This would move 1, 2. This would be 1, 2, 3. And this would be 1, 2. Probably just there for the 1. Okay, and then what else we got? Target zone 2. Okay, so this means everyone in zone 2 is going to be targeted. We do have a reaction here, and I'm kind of tempted to heal up our support person. Yes, I think I'm going to do that. So we're going to use our reaction to use this. Yeah, so my reading of this is because our vitality is already in the red, we can use it as a reaction instead of using the token. So we'll X this by flipping it over and gain 1, 2, 3, 4 vitality. I was hoping to use that on someone else rather than herself, but that's okay. She soaked a whole bunch of damage. All right, so the rest of this card is going to be a doozy. This is going to be hitting everyone. So no one has... Oh, actually, I think one person does have 5+ stress. Okay, so the Mothman pulses with Radiant Light. Target everyone in Zone 2, which is 1, 2... 1, 2, which is, yeah, so everybody. Alrighty, Ryu. So we'll go left to right for our characters. So everyone's going to be 2 except for Big Pop on the end. 3. Is there any ill effects? Yes. Okay, so there is. So there's 3 damage here. We'll do an armor roll, though. Again, I don't know if this is the proper usage of this card, but this is what we're doing. No. So 1, 2, 3. Then we need to make a test, and we are knocked back 1. There we go. And was it a perception test, I think? Yes, a perception test. And her perception is 1. Did it say what the difficulty was? Yep, just 1. So we just need a single success, which would be nice. Yes, which makes for, don't mind me, just triple checking everything, dazed. So we'll grab a dazed condition card. So dazed, each range you have is reduced by 1. And if you gain this condition a second time, or you gain the blind condition, flip this card. At the end of your next turn, discard this card. Cool. On to the next person. So we got 2 red dice for damage. 4 damage. Ouchie kibbles. And we'll do that on this person. So knock back 1, 4 damage. So all that damage that we just healed is taken back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, Audrey's going to suffer a stress breakthrough here. Fun. We'll shuffle you up. And we'll draw a stress breakthrough. And it is, until the end of your next turn, you cannot use space or tokens. At the start of your next turn, turn this card upside down. Cool. Fun times. And then we need to do a perception check for her. What is your perception at? Just 1 also. So we'll roll just 1 dice. Nice, that's a success. She gains the same condition. Let's just grab all of these and bring them down over to here. There we go. There we go. And then Isaac here. Awesome. Only takes 1 damage. Gets knocked back 1. And makes a perception test also. That's just 1 perception there as well. And we just need 1 success, which would be nice. No, so he is blinded. So blind is each range you have becomes 1. And then at the end of your next turn, you flip it and you're just dazed. So less great there. And so Big Papa has exactly 5 stress, meaning it's going to be 3 dice instead of 2. Let's just triple check that. Yes. To 4 damage on Big Papa. We will do the single armor roll though, 2. So 3 damage on Big Papa in that case. 1, 2, 3. And then Big Papa is also going to draw 1 of these cards. So as you can see, the boss has taken 2 turns, and it has definitely brought my guys down a fair bit. Flee in panic. During your next turn, you must play the highest value movement card before any other actions, and you must move as far away from the closest intruder or blip as possible. Great. Great Scots. And then perception check with him. I'm assuming it's just one. Yes, perception is not this group's strong suit, apparently. Okay, so he is blinded also, meaning no attacks for him or for him because he's got to run away next turn. Okay, and I think that is the end of its turn. Let me just double check here. If 6+ total damage was dealt, which is absolutely the case, Nuclear Litany. Oh, I think I messed this up actually. So keyword Nuclear Litany. Place 1 radiation token on this card. So I think I should have 2 there actually, which is a little bit scary. Because I think this has happened twice. And I misread that piece. So I'll flip you to 2. So we have 2 tokens on the card now. And if you end your turn in zone 3, Radiation X, where X is the number of tokens on this card. Indeed. Oh, wow, that's quite terrifying. So everyone gains 2 radiation tokens. So let's grab some more. So we need some ways to get rid of radiation. Because Aubrey is almost dead from radiation. There we go, and there we go. So yeah, that is a tricky, evil ability. Me no likey. In zone 3, so yeah, everybody is, where X is the number of tokens on this card. When there are 5 radiation tokens on this card, flip it. So this card can straight up kill you. Oh, I think I'm misplaying this actually. So whenever Nuclear Litany procs, I place a radiation token on this card. And if I end my turn within zone 3, then Radiation X. So I think I was misdoing that. So I'm just going to pull these away. And we'll leave them here because I won't be surprised if they come back. I think I was doing it like extra hard mode there by accident. So basically, I don't want to end my turn within zone 3, which is quite a large zone actually. So a little bit scary there for sure. And I might have been misplaying that wrong because I misread the card to begin with. All right, that is the end of our turn now, or its turn. So we are good to go, and we only need to do 2 more wounds. However, it is going to be harder to wound now because we've got only BP2s to hit. There might be one cheeky BP1 in there, but not many if so. All right, so I am tempted to go and get this loot box. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go and get this loot box, and I just want to see what's in the box, man. What's in the box? Let's do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, let's see. 1, 2, 3. I think that would be a full movement of 5 to go there, and then we'll do. Oh, what? There's multiples of them. That's probably by mistake. So we go there, and then we'll use our action to scavenge, which shall bring up our adrenaline, which in this case is good. And let us, I think there's a special rule for looting that thing. Let's see. When you scavenge the gear catch, see 4730. So let's do that. $47.30. A glint of white draws your eye and tugs at the soul. You frantically search through the debris and solar sail rags, as if expecting to find a lost and forgotten legendary treasure. You're surprised when you do. A half-melted gauntlet of alien design, reminiscent of the arms of the Mothman intruder bears. Then, frightfully, unwillingly, as if your mind instinctively know not to, your gaze shifts to the background, where something small and insectoid but incandescent skitters under the wreck. Of a Mothman suit, blown from the insides as if something burst through. Oh god, they live inside it. Lose 1 insanity only in the full game, and gain 1 stress. Gain the Salen's Gun gear card. Let's grab the Salen's Gun first. I think is it this crazy looking thing? So that's the whip. God's Bliss. No, so it's not there. Nothing in the temple. Are you in the big box? Oh, yes, you are. Cool. There we go. So let's take you out, close you up. And what is you? Salen's Gun. So it's like a only one hand, which is awesome. Linear, Discipline 2, Discharge. You know what? I am pretty happy having discharges on my 2 one-handed people. 2 red dice plus 1, 0 suppress, and high crit chance. Interesting. Very interesting. So let's equip that right away. That sounds pretty cool. So put that on top of there, and then we'll also just need to grab a discharge thing instead of the reload one. So we'll chuck the reload away. Are we within zone 3? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So my assumption is yes. So we gain 2 radiation tokens on the end of our turn, bumping us up to 4, which is really scary. Very scary indeed. So these tokens we weren't able to use. Unless, are we able to? Do we want to use this gun? We could exert if we wanted to. Range is 4. Did it say linear? I don't think so. Ah, it is linear. So we're not going to shoot it this time, but we do have a trippy gear card, so that's fun. So Big Papa needs to move. You're also dazed, so your dazed is now gone, so we'll just put you down there. Next up, we have... What tokens do we leave from that too? So we get to leave 2 expertise and then 1 and 1. There we go. I think you know what I might do actually too. So if 1 is empty, which it is, this would be a slight little retcon to place any 2 spacer tokens there. So let's go ahead and leave a reroll and a expertise. And this is just going to give gaining us a stress in doing so. Oh, I gotta move all these things. There we go. Okay, cool. So that's the end of her turn. She is stressed the heck out. Let's flip that back to normal. All right, I think we're gonna go with our recon person next. And this is a heavy weapon, isn't it? Yes, it is. Indeed, it is. So she's gonna have to full reload, which is a adrenaline action. So we'll scoot that forward. And then we'll scoot the stress back down 1 if it lets me grab it. There we go. Cool. And we are going to exert. I don't know if this is a wise move, but we're near the end here, and we just need to get those 2 wounds. So let's do it. We're going to exert. I think this actually gains us a stress in doing so, if I remember the rules correctly. And we're going to use this to attack because we've got the full ammo here. Flip that over to 2. Heavy and devastating. Okay, so 2 reds, a free. Yes, we got a whole bunch of goodies here. And let's see what it is we're trying to connect with. Norsora Bone Necklace. Okay. So 2 reds and some freebies. Okay, we're definitely going to spend a reroll. Oops. Luckily that's fine, so flip that one. And then the one that we're re-rolling is this. So 2, 4, 6. Oh, that is just shy, I think. So 2, 4, because we only have the 1. I think each reroll can only be rerolled once unless we do a stress. So let's take a point of stress. Oh, that was 2. And try and reroll this one again. This is a risk, but we'll see. 2, 4, 6. I don't even know if we could have actually gotten that actually. Oh, we do actually get a crit quadrant there, and this is a devastating weapon now, so let's roll another dice. We are not out of it yet. Boom, so we do wound. Heck yeah. So Nora, Sora, Thang. Wasn't there a crit quadrant? I thought there was one, but I don't see it there. Did I see it on the side of the dice? Instinct. Okay, I'm just gonna say that I hit. I don't know if I should have done that, but that's fine. Okay, so Instinct is going to attack us no matter what, so let's do that. Perform signature attack against the attacker, so we know what the signature is. It's 2 red dice, and if 3 plus damage is dealt, radiation 1. Okay, so 2 damage. 1, 2. Oh, I might have messed something up actually earlier with the not being able to. Oh no, she didn't attack or anything, so that's fine. And so then this can be flipped upside down. I wonder if you will function normally now. Can I see you? No, I don't know if it matters though. So let's. So at the end of your turn, place 1 token in the incoming pool. Cool. Alrighty though, so we're just gonna go ahead and say we wounded once again. So we've taken damage. I don't think it gets to radiate us though. I will say, and again, part of it, I think, realistically, it's not that much that bugs me about Tabletop Simulator, but just this session in particular has been a little bit frustrating. Picking up things without meaning to and adding like a whole deck into the mix and such has been a bit of a bother. And then also the little glitch where these things take a long time to move and stack and such. And then these cards in physical play are super fine, are going to be really cool. You just rotate it. But in the Tabletop Simulator here, you can't flip it without flipping all of that kind of card. So for example, if I flip this so I can actually see it the way properly, it then automatically has all of the AI and body part cards flipped, which is just annoying. So a little frustrating with that. And I've also just been playing really poorly, which is kind of annoying because I figured I'd be able to jump into the boss battle and be like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. But it's been a little rough indeed, but still fun. Okay, so I've taken that. I don't think it did 3 because it just did 2, and then lure 1. So we do get scooted back towards it. And so just for the intents of playing it, like I think I messed this up and I shouldn't have actually wounded that. But this way we can escalate a AI and BP3 into it, and maybe it'll come up and that might be fun to see. Okay, so we'll scoot you down to there. And then we'll get rid of a AI2. And we'll put an AI3 into the mix, not all of them. So from my understanding, if you just click and drag, it does that. You're supposed to just draw 1. But occasionally, it's got like this super low delay where if I click and hold just for like a millisecond, then it grabs everything, which is a little annoying. Okay, so there we go. And then we shuffle. So no 3s on top, which is, I mean, for the best. And I think we just need to do the 1 wound because we have, yeah. So we just need the 1 wound, and we've got 2 more people to go. Ending their turn, they are going to GTFO because they don't want to get the 2 radiation tokens. So they're going to move 1, 2. Would that be 1, 2, 3? Yeah, so that would be out of it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, so they are good. So they're in the clear. And they would have gotten the noise token for doing that as well. So we'll scoop this over to them. Oh, and then they've also got the armor, so we'll just do one belated noise roll. And again, I think the noise roll isn't the right mechanic, but nothing blocked there anyways, so that's the full effect. Alrighty, so that's going to bring us to our... then Dazed is gone as well, so we get that out of there. So Big Papa basically isn't going to have a turn, so he's going to go last this time. So Isaac is up next. So we're able to use this gun once more, and I feel like... Oh, actually, first things first, let's just make sure everyone's got the right tokens in play. So we'll scoot this down to there. She could have done with that. Move another spacer one space. We're going to do that, actually. So we're going to spend one of those to move a spacer one space, and we're going to do that with... Yeah, because I think these are both blind. Yeah, they are. Isaac. So Isaac's going to get adjacent because of that. Cool. Cool. This is dangerous, but it's a tactical thing. And then the rest of these tokens are gone. So this one is going to get moved to here, which is going to be enough for us to flip this over. And now we have 2 abilities to remove radiation tokens. And so from my understanding, we can do this at any time. So let's just stick all of these back in the pile. Thank you. And the tokens that we get to leave are a 2 discipline and a expertise, and I think some stuff from the gun. Nope, nothing from the gun. Okay, so expertise, 2 discipline, and none of that one. So Isaac is going to go, and Isaac's gun is recharged and ready to shoot. So we get 3 white, and there is a free discipline. And from shooting, we're going to leave 2 discipline in the incoming pool. So I'll just do that right now. Actually, let's just get that one. Go. 2 white dice plus 1. We'll roll those bad boys. Okay, so that is not great, but there is a crit chance there. And let's see what we're trying to connect with. Non-Euclidean viewpoint. So wound nuclear litany, which isn't going to be great. Fail, gain 2 stress. If 5 plus stress, lure 4. And if you become adjacent, knock down. And then crits, other fun things happen. So crits are usually really fun for us, but just as a note, they can be not fun for you too. Okay. So let's see. We rolled the dice already. We got, I think it was these 2. So I think we're going to go ahead and spend a stress to reroll one of them. Just make sure I'm doing this right. Oh, I actually needed to roll an additional die too. So let's roll this one, and then we'll just reroll that one too. Ooh, okay, so that looks pretty good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we got 2 crit quadrants there. Once again, that phrasing is pretty funny. Oh my god! I think we... Oh, no, hang on. We don't crit. We needed 1 more to crit, which would have been a first. Okay, well, I guess that makes it easy because we don't need to go and look up what crit rules do. Critting in ATO games is rare, but it's really satisfying when you do. I do think the little quadrant thing is not nearly as satisfying as getting the crit symbol, though. Crit chance is a fun one in ATO. Okay, so... Wound, nuclear litany. Let's see about nuclear litany. Place 1 irradiation token on this card. And I believe this is our 7th wound. So we've done the wound. There we go. Adding up to 7, so we've now done the wound. However, so for example, like if the game kept going, it would escalate again, and we'd have AI and BP, more AI and BP3 cards in here. One note, the level 3 cards do count as 2 wounds. However, so if this was the 6th card as an example, and we ended his turn where he is, he would have taken 3 bad tokens, and he would have been much closer to dying. In fact, I think he might have already had 2, in which case then he would have been dead. Same example for Big Papa here. He would have gotten juiced up more on those tokens and died at getting 5 or more. We can limit it to a degree with the thing that we just got, so that would have been able to help us continue playing for a while longer too. And then if we got more than, if we got 5 plus, we would have flipped this over. So let's flip it over and see. Supernova. While Supernova is face up, do not place any radiation tokens on this card. At the end of the round, perform Supernova, Zone 6. So it instantly blinds you. It radiation 6 minus X, where X is your zone ring. So the further away you are, the less radiation you take. If adjacent, you are permanently blinded. Until the end of the battle, you cannot discard, flip, or ignore the blind condition card. If more spacers are blinded than not, flip this card and add the blackout trait. Otherwise, flip this card. So blackout. Remove all blinded condition cards. Spacers range is kept at X. So just examples of some things that can go wrong. Except for some weird misplays on my part of like just issues with TTS, this went really smooth for me. Again, I don't think I was playing these armor cards right, but using it as an armor reroll never really came into play either, so it wasn't super necessary. The single heal here was really fun, and I really quite enjoyed the discharge effect and just having two characters that could fast reload, or like one character that could fast, two characters that could fast reload, with one with a rifle, one with a pistol. Getting kind of a flow of some differences with Aeon Trespass was good too. So how like the noise roll still comes into play for targeting was really interesting, for example. And being able to run around and loot stuff. It didn't really get to any use of the terrain here at all. Its movement was quite cool. Its zone tripped me out a little bit. And again, I think that might have just been a weird disparity, not being used to this game and not seeing diagram and just kind of tripping out versus the digital versus physical components, which is kind of silly. But I think I figured it out by the end at least. But yeah, so we did win. So let's go ahead and continue this, and then we'll maybe talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so Mothman. Victory 3101. Crucible of Flames. You don't quite believe you had done it, but the creature slumps to the floor, the brilliance seething from the cracks in the suit, growing fainter and fainter, until it is but an ember, and then finally it is extinguished wholly. Light flits out of the empty battery chamber, leaving a darkened, cold husk. Your scanner shows the manifold field beginning to coalesce again, and for a moment, the shepherd is still, quiet, peaceful in the eternal night of the starless void. And then you hear it, a distant knocking in the ducts, to which others respond. The ship comes to life. You defeated the Mothman, one of the countless boss intruders you will face in Enormity. By the way, that was just a level 1 Mothman. At this point, in the full game, you would end up in a special downtime area where you could convert your engrams into location-specific resources, hone your abilities, weaponize your new knowledge, develop technology, try to piece together alien lore, craft new weapons and gear, and even new suits, as well as customize your loadout. In this limited demo scenario, as rewards for your feat, simply open envelope Crucible of Flame and Embers Burn Bright if you haven't done so before, and gain access to contact plating, targeting computer, contact rifle, contact shotgun, and rad pistol gear cards, 2 copies of the Moss suit, and Solar Current Stratagem card. Then draw Dark Side of the Sun Scenario 16 card and continue. Yes, there's a bit more to this demo. The Mothman's death proves to be but a harbinger. Oh, okay, interesting. That is fun. So let's look at the gear and then we'll continue the story. So, Crucible of Flames. Let us search you. I managed to trip out the camera a little bit, but luckily we're at the very end here, so that is fine. So let's search you. So we got the Moss suit, rad pistol, contact rifle, contact plate we've seen before, solar current. Oh, and then so it looks like some new gear or cards here too. Oh, tied to the Moss suit. So cool. So drift. Let's take these out and take a quick look at them as well. So this way you can kind of customize your character a little bit, which is pretty sweet. And then some more Moss suit stuff too. All right, this area is just going to be a heckin' mess, but that's all right. So contact shotgun. We don't have that one out, so let's pull that one out too. Targeting computer. Okay, so what do we have in this big mess of Moth suit stuff over here? So the Moth suit, some different tokens. It's got the reflex ability Solar Sail. During your next move action, move 1 space more. So you need to gain a stress and spend 2 expertise to do so, which is interesting. So specs, +1 strength. You can carry 2 support items, 4 gear, and there's that symbol that I was unsure of what it means. I wonder if armor means something different in this game, and maybe it's like reducing damage you take by 1 instead of making a dice roll. That might be it. I'm not sure. Its light value is 3 spaces with 1 dice. Cool. You can see the art there, which is pretty fun. So much, just like a little bit more versatile, and the extra movement is huge, which is cool. And so let's take a look at the suit. So drift, move 2 with bypass. Bypass means I think you can move through intruders. Oh, interesting. So it's just one side instead of being double-sided. My guess there is that you're supposed to combine it with other cards. Oh, drift, that's just the exact same one. Cool, cool. So we'll just stack those up. And then this is probably the exact same too. Let's see. Combat measures. Perform attack with, just with an extra discipline. Cool. Remember, as a general rule, you can always use stress to reroll a die, even if you're out of tokens. And then, yeah, nothing on that side. So cool stuff, cool stuff. Can you stack? That's just stacking up for now. And then we got the, what's this? The stratagem. So Solar Flare. Flip this card when there are 5+ expertise and or radiation tokens here. You feel something pass through your body, something glorious, something vile. Disable and discard an exert card. Oh, that's cool. So if you have exert cards, you can just get rid of them for free twice. And you can also amp it up by adding radiation tokens to this. I believe that's what that's supposed to be, which is interesting. So does that mean when a person would gain a radiation token, do they move it here instead, or do they still gain it, but you also add one here? I'm not sure on that, but that's really cool. I like that because expertise come in really handy for a lot of different things, and it's kind of tricky trying to divvy them up between different character abilities and these stratagems. So cool. I like that a lot. And then we got support gear, so targeting computer. So expertise, speaking of, I don't know what that little symbol means. When you attack a boss intruder, draw 2 BP cards and choose which one you want to target. Shuffle the other end of the deck. That is huge, because some BP cards, so for example, the first one that we hit was AT6, which is quite hard, especially if you don't have any tokens in play. And so we could pick up 2 and choose which one. That is a really strong ability. Also, if your vitality is low, spend expertise. I don't know what that little wiggly symbol is. Gain 1 crit chance during an attack, or crit quadrant. Once again, crit quadrant is just a ridiculous phrase. it's too hard. Crit chance is easier. I think that's what they used before, but obviously these are quadrants, so it makes sense. Crit quadrant. So if you were close to critting, like I was close to critting but didn't quite get it, this would get you that crit. And speaking from experience in this game, like if it's the difference of gaining a super cool unique item like the Solar Whip, which is probably just sitting right there, that is a big deal and is awesome, let alone it with, yeah, so that card is sweet. Long story short, really good card. Anything on the back? Nope, full game only. Oh, a little bit of fun lore stuff though, what's it say? Gathers battlefield data and suggests optimal firing trajectories, fun stuff. Contact shotgun, so 3 red, that is freaking sick. Only 1 range though, so it's up close. So up close and personal, which is very fitting. 2 crit quadrants, 3 suppress, 1 range, linear, fall back. So you got to be right adjacent to it. So you can't, it's basically a melee weapon, just a gun form. Fallback 1 is really cool though. And any bit of lore on the back there too. Yeah, so a little bit of lore, that's fun. And then contact rifle, so 2 red plus 1 power, 1 free discipline, range 4, 2 suppress, 2 crit quadrants, 2 ammo, burst 2, confidence 2, that's pretty awesome. Discipline 1, advance 1. I think advance 1 means you can move, heavy means you need a full reload, and devastating means if you get a crit quadrant on a dice, you can add another dice, which is pretty cool. Cool, and then the other thing that we got was the rad pistol here, so I don't even know what it says. Xeno Corvu, maybe? 3 white dice, plus 1 power, 4 range, no suppress, 2 crit chance, a noiseless gun. That's pretty sick. This gun kind of reminds me of like Fallout. Linear, discipline 2, discharge, radiate 1. Radiate 1, I think that means it radiates you. I'm gonna check that really quick just for fun. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, so Radiate X. If your target has not been killed during the leave spacer tokens and suppression step of the spacer attack, place X radiation tokens on their intruder sheet. During the draw BP card step of a spacer attack, if the total number of radiation tokens on the sheet equals the card's AT, immediately deal it as a wound, suffering all responses, discard all radiation tokens, drawn on the BP card, and continue the attack, if able. So BP cards are only on boss intruders. I'm curious if this would also be the case on stronger usual intruders too, the ones that have multiple wounds. Cool though. Yeah, that looks really sweet. I like that it doesn't radiate you. Yeah, so that's some really fun gear. Let's take a look at the other one as well, because I think Crucible of... No, it's this one. So we'll search. Oopsies. Just want to move it over here a little bit. Okay, so this is another suit. Ooh, we get another couple of different weapon types here. Contact rifle, we've already seen. Power glow torch, I'm here for it. And then these will be, you can move 2 spaces diagonally. First contact suits, that's pretty sweet. And also perform attack. After resolving the attack, move 1. So any extra movement is always really, really powerful. Move 2 spaces, you can move diagonally. Cool, very, very cool. So extra movement is always good, and that we've seen before too. So let's take a look at these things. So this suit, different token lineup. Help up, help a spacer stand up. That's the same as before. +1 perception, which is pretty cool. 2 support items, 3 for your backpack. Only 2 range on your light for scout actions. Orbital M1 machete. Machete kills. Oh my goodness, I love this. So if I play again, which I think I'm going to, I think I might give it a little bit of time though, because I was a little frustrated with Tabletop Simulator this round. I'm definitely going to have a melee character with a machete. That's going to be sweet. Okay, so 3 white dice, +1 power if you got 5+ stress, 0 range, so it's just a melee weapon, 1 suppress, really high quit quadrants with 3 of them, discipline 1, and devastating. So if you do roll a quit quadrant, you can roll another dice too. Even though you don't even really need to, because you would crit anyways with this, which is pretty cool. I like that. This would be a terrible weapon to use against the Mothman, though, because you don't want to be adjacent to him. But he does pull you adjacent, so there is that. Any fun lore on the back of this, too? Doesn't play around. Cool, cool. What's this? Ivankov Needler Fletchette Pistol. So up close and personal pistol. So 3 white dice, 1 confidence token to use for yourself. 2 range, 1 suppress, 2 crit quadrants, only 1 ammo, so this could be fast reloaded. Discipline 2 fragmentation rounds, and heavy. Oh, so you cannot fast reload it. It's just a heavy pistol. Burst 2 also. And an extra red die on noise rolls, which is kind of scary. But so it's very loud and goes hard basically. And what about this? Power blowtorch. So range 2. 2 white dice, 1 discipline, 1 suppress, 2 crit quadrances, 3 charges, so that's pretty sweet. You can break a welded door shut, which is pretty cool. I kind of love the idea. I don't think it would be optimal character playstyle at all, but having a blowtorch, machete-wielding person just sounds awesome. That sounds fun. All right, cool. Well, so we looked at that stuff, and again, sorry, the camera's kind of janky. I don't know why it did that. So draw location card. Scenario 16. I don't think that is at the bottom here. Let's take a look. What do we have here? That's 1. 14. So 16 has got to be in here. Maybe this one? 16, perfect. So let's just see what this is. The ship is alive. Unlocked location, the Solar Ring Western Corridor. Unlock threats, automas. Main objective, perform an extraction run. See page 6 of the Mythos book for details. Disregard the Solar Ring's ecology and choose the automas as the main intruder. Okay, so this is just jumping into the next round of the demo, basically, in which you're fighting automas with all of your heavy gear, and it's kind of like an example of the next main stage of the game, which isn't necessarily a story objective. I think it's just getting as much stuff as possible and then getting out alive. So yeah, I think we're going to save reading that for our actual playthrough. As far as some final thoughts after this playthrough, I feel like I messed up more than I should have. I figured I would be fine to jump in blinds, and then also was just, again, a little bit frustrated with messing up with Tabletop Simulator a little bit. It does feel a lot quicker and more streamlined than Aeon Trespass battles, honestly. Like, I think, like, getting rid of the to-hit roll and the card UI seems simpler too, or easier to follow for, like, the AI and BP cards. That might be just because this is a simple first boss, but having unique battle boards is also extra fun. So yeah, you might come back to the same place to fight the Mothman multiple times, or you might face off against him elsewhere. And he can also show up in your extraction rounds too. So I think that's an improvement over ATO, because the ATO battles don't necessarily get that old, but they're always on the same map with maybe one or two different terrain layouts on it, and that's it. So I really like that. The gear in this seems to upgrade and change gameplay a lot. So I think that'll be interesting doing the next extraction run with a bunch of different gear. So all the extra movements and higher powered weapons and such, and being able to make all kinds of different character builds sounds really interesting. The vitality, stress, and exhilaration, whatever it's called, as it ramps up, is a pretty fun mechanic. Again, I feel like it'll be a much more easy experience in person rather than fiddling with this digitally. And yeah, that was fun. Again, I was frustrated more so at Tabletop Simulator rather than the game itself, but fun time all in all. And I might redo this at some point on a higher difficulty just for fun, because I think there was like a full level 1 Mothman in which you got to go to level 10 and such too. But yeah, good stuff all around. I'm still not sure whatever that armor symbol was, or I could have just missed it in the rulebook, but I looked through it for a while and didn't see it. So if anyone knows what that armor symbol for the first contact gear plate thing is, definitely let me know. But yeah, on that note, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye.